Hello everyone, my name is Lorthorn and welcome to every single spell in Electroblob's Wizardry. Okay, what are we doing today? We're going to show off every single spell that is in Electroblob's Wizardry. So, we have it organized by the 4 ranks of spell, going from the weakest to the strongest, and we have them organized by element type. So fire, ice, storm, death, sorcery, thaumaturgy, and divinity. Please excuse my spelling, but that's the way it's going to go. Now, the most basic spell you can cast in Electroblob's Wizardry is Magic Missile. It's just a little projectile, it shoots out. You get that spell, it's simple. Nice and easy, done with. See, Magic Missile spellbook here. Okay, and it says fires a bolt of magic. We're not going to go into the other books though, because we just want the spells. So, we're going to just grab all these wands here, and they do go in order as we said. These are the novice level spells, and it looks like we have a volunteer here for casting. So first up on the fire spells, we've got Smoke Bomb, which makes a cloud of smoke that you can't see through. Then we have Ignite, the other novice level spell. Then we move on to Ice. Freeze makes ice appear on the ground, can freeze water. And Snowball, which does no damage, it's just a snowball. The lightning spells. We have a Thunderbolt, which shoots out a little explosive, thundery, wondery bolt. That does about 1 damage. And we have Arc, a spell that requires a target and it arcs it to them. Does actually a little bit more damage than your basic Thunderbolt. Moving on from there, we have evil spells. We have Summon Zombies, which summons zombies to do our bidding, so they will attack hostile mobs and try to defend us. After that, we have Le Mind Tricked, which would make hostile mobs friendly to us. So if we mind trick this guy, he will not try to attack us. We have to be in survival mode. Hello. See, he's friendly to us. If we spawn another friend in, he'll go, hey. And then I mind trick him, and he's like, oh, you're a cool dude. Next, we have Snare. If a target walks over it, they will be slowed and slightly hurt. Leap allows you to jump, and Mine breaks blocks. It cannot break obsidian, but it can go through wood and stone, so it's good for just quick little jobs. After that, we have Dart, which shoots a little dart. Light is the Apprentice, and basic. And we have Le Telekinesis, which allows you to pull dropped blocks towards you. There's Conjure Block, which allows you to summon invisible fake blocks that are as strong as glass. Muffle makes it so you make no noises when moving about. Next is Celestial spells. There is Ward, which protects you from magic. There is Evade, which moves you sideways in the direction you tap. There is Heal, which will heal you from damage. And those are the novice spells. Moving on from there, we have the apprentice level spells. And there's a lot more spells in each category here. So we're going to grab them in order yet again, and hopefully have enough room, because some of these spells take up 2 wands worth of space. It appears that we'll have just enough for it. There we go. First spell we have for fire is Fire Sign, and if you cast it and a target walks over it, they will catch fire. Then there is Fireball, which will shoot out a ball that will light stuff on fire. Flame Ray shoots out a ray of flame. Then there's Firebomb, which sends out an incendiary grenade that lights all targets in the area on fire around it. After that is Firebolt, which just shoots a bolt of fire that lights stuff on fire, targets that hit, single target little firebolt. Finally, in the fire spells, we have Pocket Furnace. Now, Pocket Furnace will cook things in your inventory. It cooks 5 of them at a time and up to 5 of them. Next, we have Ice spells. Ice Shard shoots out a bolt of ice and slows the targets that it hits. Frost Ray deals constant frost damage and also will mildly slow its targets. Ice Ball deals damage and slows the target. Frost Sign is the counter spell to Fire Sign, or the not counter spell but its alternative. Ice Statue will turn a target into a solid block of ice, freezing them solid. Frost Barrier creates a wall which you cannot get through, and also rebounds targets and can't be broken by hitting. It'll go away in an amount of time. And Summon Snow Golem summons the Snow Golems for you. Next is the Storm spells of Apprentice level. Lightning Sign, again, is the same as all the other sign spells, deals lightning damage. Blinding Flash blinds targets around you, and also causes a bright flash to come off the tip of your wand. Lightning Ray sends out a ray of lightning, which will lock onto a target and keep damaging them. Lightning Arrow shoots out a lightning-like arrow that will deal damage to targets, has a limited range. Charge sends you charging through targets, dealing damage as you move, and it's also a movement spell. Homing Spark seeks out targets and will deal a little bit of damage to them. And looks pretty nifty. And finally, Spark Bomb sends out a little bomb that hits everything around that casts spark cells. So it's excellent in AoE cases where you have a whole bunch of slimes to get rid of. Next, we have the Necromancy spells. Here we have Metamorphosis, which will turn certain targets into their counterparts. So this turns slimes into magma slimes, and it will turn pigs into zombie pigmen. Reversal sends the negative effect back to the targets that you have on you. Fortunately, I can't do that. Enrage makes all targets angry around it, and they'll cause them to attack the caster. Not sure where you'd want that. Wither inflicts the target with Wither. Intimidate causes fear, which will make all targets run away from the caster. Banish teleports the target away from you, or in a random direction. Summon Skeleton summons skeletal archers to fight for you. And finally, Life Drain steals life from the target at a constant rate and heals you. Moving on to Earth-type spells. We have the Poison Bomb. Sorry, moving on to sorceries. I get sorceries and earth spells mixed up because they seem very similar. So the first sorcery spell is Poison Bomb, which lets out a bomb that deals a high amount of damage and will poison the targets, leaving them constantly taking damage. Then we have the Bubble, which entraps the target inside a bubble, causing them to slowly float up. Then we have Poison, which just shoots out a beam that poisons whatever it hits. And Whirlwind pushes things away and up. I think one of my favorite spells is Grapple. You have to get into range, which grapples you onto a target and then pulls you towards it, which I think is very nifty. Have seen other mods that do this, but still I am always fond of them. Sixth Sense, I believe, allows you to see invisible targets. Yes, it allows you to see invisible targets with little spirit orbs, which is kind of cool. So, boom, we can still see where it is. We can still see its little life orb. Nifty. Summon Spirit Wolves summons a Spirit Wolf that will defend you. Dark Vision gives you Dark Vision. Growthor makes everything around you grow. Moving on to Thaumaturgy, Clairvoyance is a spell that you cast it among a target. So you shift the location, then you cast a spell, and it'll lead you to it. So wherever you cast it to, it'll send you a little line to where the target was. Blink teleports you, much like Enderman teleports, to a place you can see, with nice little effects too. Yes, a lot of the spells actually have little casting effects, which are quite nice. Next we have Conjure Bow, which conjures you a spectral bow. Pocket Workshop summons the crafting table in your inventory. Divination tells you where ore might be, but it's not great at it. Agility gives you haste and jump speed, which is kind of fun. Conjure Sword conjures a spectral sword. Imbue Weapon enchants your weapon with imbuement, which makes it hit harder. It's kind of a terrible example against slime, but trust me, this sword is now improved. Conjure Pickaxe summons you a Spectral Pickaxe to mine with at Iron level, I believe. And Force Arrow launches out a bolt of force that damages the target, and it travels quite a far distance, so it's a good sniping spell. Divination spells. We can cure effects that would be on us. So, if we go and give ourselves Oak Flesh, we can then get rid of that. We can mark les sacrifice, which makes it so this target's now marked sacrifice. Wore off. Anyways, that makes it so you get mana and heal after killing the target. Empowering Presence gives you empowerment, which makes you stronger. Replenish Hunger makes it so you're less hungry. And Shield creates a lovely little shield in front of you, which targets can't get through, so it's quite literally a shield. Invigorating Presence makes you hit harder. Heal Ally will heal your allies near you, but not yourself. Now we move on to the advanced spells, which has by far the most spells in it. So this one's going to take a little longer to do. So we are going to start off with the ice spells, the fire spells, and the storm spells. And we will grab for ourselves as well the evil death magic. So starting off, we have a disintegration ray, which disintegrates the targets, also deals fire damage, and it looks really badass. If the target is killed by it, they are disintegrated, other things around it catch fire. It leaves these hot coals on the ground, which if you step on, you get burnt. So, it's a very, very cool spell. After that, we have Le Detonate, which causes explosion of damage to go wherever you shoot it. Greater Fireball sends out explosion that actually destroys things. It has a little bit of a charging period. And Blaboom! Summon Blaze summons a friendly blaze that will protect you. Fire Resistance grants you fire resistance. Ring of Fire creates a massive freaking ring of fire around you. Anything that enters this ring of fire will catch fire and take constant fire damage, making a very good defensive spell. Combustion Room causes whatever is hit to catch fire and explode. Moving on to the next flame spell, we have Fire Axe, which gives us a flaming axe that actually looks really cool. Fire Skin lights you on fire and makes whoever hits you will catch fire. Flame Weapon will imbue a weapon to light whatever it hits on fire. Now the advanced ice spells, we have Summon Ice Wraith, which basically summons an Ice Blizz. Ice Charge, which sends out a little globe that then shoots ice balls everywhere, or spikes. Frost Axe is the counterpart to Flame Axe, summons you a Frost Axe. Ice Shroud is the counterpart to the Flame spell, so we'll go aggravate this slime, and this will hit it with a slow. Ice Lance shoots a long-range projectile that deals damage and slows. Frost Step makes it so water underneath you freezes solid. So you can walk on water for a period and it freezes and breaks. It's like the boot enchantment. Now, Ice Spike creates spikes wherever you cast it in a little area out from you. They're not the most accurate, but against a big target like this sucker here, we'll definitely hit him. Blizzard summons an icy little tornado at the location that'll deal constant frost damage and slow. Freeze Weapon will make a sword be imbued with ice and cause whatever target hit to be slowed and take the icy effect. We have the storm spells. Static Aura is like all the other auras. I don't think we need to show it in action. Then we have Lightning Bolt, which, as you can guess, calls down artillery strike from the heavens. Now Lightning Pulse, on the other hand, sends out a little pulse at your feet, knocking everything back and hurting them. Storm Cloud causes a storm cloud to form over an area and start striking whatever is there with lightning, which I think is really fun. Stupid sheep walk under a storm cloud. Paralysis makes it so a target cannot move. Summon Lightning Wraith summons a wraith that will act like a blaze, but it's lightning type. And Invoke Weather makes it stormy. If you cast it again, it'll stop the rain. Next is Chain Lightning, which should chain to multiple targets. So we are going to have to kill a slime, split in two, and boom. There we go. That is fun. An excellent way to kill slimes is with your chain lightning bolts. And finally we have Lightning Disc, which is a projectile that'll go spinning around and seek towards the target in a terrifying fashion of death and destruction. Lightning spells are fun. Okay, moving on, we have the Advanced Necromancy spells. This will make him take damage from sunlight, which is a rather awful fate. So it basically turns whoever target you hit with into undead and they start taking damage from the sunlight. We have Shadow Ward, which creates a shield of shadows around you. So Shadow Ward inflicts the damage that would be dealt to you back to the target, making you only take half and they take the other half. Darkness Orb sends out a little orb of darkness that deals damage to targets and sounds cool. Unfortunately, they got rid of my favorite spell in the latest update, which was Zammel. I miss my Zammel boy, but oh well. Decay creates puddles of death upon the ground. The Curse of Soulbound makes the target share your pain. So that slime should get hurt when we are getting hurt. I have no idea why it's not. Very odd. Moving on. Shulker Bullet sends out a Shulker Bullet to attack targets and make them slowly levitate up. Wither Skull, which sends out the projectile that the Wither shoots. Dragon Breath shoots out the fireball the Ender Dragon shoots. Summon Wither Skeleton summons Wither Skeletons to work for you. Wither Totem creates an object which makes everything around it slowly get hurt. Second to last, but not least, is Le Mind Control, which should make targets work for you instead. So now this is our slime, and he's going to go aggressively at that slime. And finally, we have the Entrapment spell. Causes them to slowly float upwards, constantly taking damage, phasing through blocks, and then inevitably die or survive. Tornado. Sends out a tornado, sends things up in the air. It looks gorgeous as well. Spider Swarm summons a group of spiders to attack your targets. Cobwebs causes a blob of cobwebs to appear at the location. Fangs, one of my favorite spells. You raise your hands up and it summons Le Fangs for you, which I think is really nifty. Glide is the poor man's Elytra. Whee! Lets you glide. At constant rate, so you sort of like slowly fall. Summon Spirit Horse summons you a horse, which is actually a decent speed. Slime puts a slime onto the target, which will slowly murder them. Water Breathing gives you water breathing. Now onto the Thaumaturgy, as the sorcery is over. Oh, okay, what I thought was sorcery is earth magic, which means that this is sorcery, so what we were just doing was earth magic. This is sorcery, what I've been calling Thaumaturgy is sorcery. Okay, well, whatever, you live and you learn. Moving on to the sorcery. Arcane Lock locks a chest, so only you can open it. Containment stops the target from leaving the location it's in. Petrify turns them to stone. Makes the slime lose their outer body. So you can get yourself statues. It's kind of evil, actually. Like, listen to that sound. Invisibility turns you invisible. Levitate makes you hover upwards. Force Orb sends out a little ball, which basically goes oof. It makes targets go flying. Spectral Pathway causes a path to appear for you to walk across from one location to another. Basically making a bridge in between high places. Mirage causes you to appear in random locations and look really confusing and wacky. So no one actually knows where you are. It's actually really cool. Look at this. Ha! You don't know who I am. Vex Swarm. Summons a swarm of angry Vex. Greater telekinesis. Apparently screws with the world. And it's like Wingardium Leviosa. But it has like a limited amount of time working. Smack! Can we drop? Okay, it is rather glitchy. But if you want to screw things around in your universe, cast Greater Telekinesis. Conjure Armor. Put Spiritual Diamond Armor on you. Decoy makes a decoy double view. Vanishing Box creates a chest for you to store stuff in and call up for later. Guardian Beam is a Guardian Beam. Phase Step is basically a teleport. Transportation will transport you back to a circle's transportation stones that look like this. So, we'll now be transferred back to it. Transportation magic makes you nauseous as well. Moving on to advanced divine spells. Also, I've broken all of our shadows somehow. Anyways, Arcane Jammer will make so the target can't cast spells. Alright. Transience makes you immune to all damage, but you can no longer break blocks or deal damage of any sort. A Radiant Totem summons a totem that will heal you and hurt enemies. Remove Curse removes negative status effects from you. Group Heal heals the target in a group. Greater Ward protects you from greater spells. Healing Aura creates an area that will heal whoever walk into it. Satiate replenishes a greater amount of hunger. Iron Flesh gives you resistance 2. Ray of Purification shoots out a constant beam of damage that is radiant. It deals bonus damage to undead, but it will also hurt the slime at a constant rate. And Force Field creates a dome of which evil creatures cannot pass through, while friendlies can. Finally, onto master level spells. There is a lot less of these than, well, the two in between. There's a very few novice spells though, so. Anyhow, these are cool. These are very cool spells. These are my favoriteest of spells. Right. Dragon Breath shoots out a ridiculous amount of fire that lights things on fire. Also, the ground stuff is just like roar. Now, Flame Catcher summons you a bow, which looks super cool, fires super fast, and these arrows deal the damage. And Meteor calls down a meteor. It's pretty self-explanatory. Boom! It's great. And finally, a very cool looking spell. Firestorm. Combustion. Doesn't hurt you as well when you cast it. Master level ice spells. Summon Ice Giant. Creates this cool dude who's like, alright, time to die, punks. Wall of Frost. You can just start walling yourself up with ice, which is pretty nifty. Ice Age is a very good survival spell. You're surrounded by a group of enemies. You're like, oh no! So you cast it, and it freezes them all solid. Ice Strike calls down a whole bunch of hail, so it's like a magic artillery strike. It just shoots down ice constantly in one area. Storm spells! You can summon a Storm Elemental, which is this guy here, who will shoot out bolts of lightning to hurt your enemies. Lightning Web goes bazap and will hit one target, and then after it kills them, it'll link to the next ones and keep linking, so it's like a chain lightning beam. This is also a great spell. This is Lightning Hammer. Calls down a lightning hammer. Calls down the hammer, literal hammer of Thor, to bring the smack down your enemies, and anyone around it gets shot by lightning from the handle. And finally, Thunderstorm, which calls down the Ultra Artillery Strike from Zeus, hitting every target and causing lightning bolts to blink out in a cacophony of death and pain. Bam! Yeah. Okay. Now, moving on to the undead spells, there's actually quite a few of the advanced ones. We can summon shadow wraiths. We can cause the zombie apocalypse to take place, which will summon us legion of zombies to come out of these evil portals. Now we can also summon ourselves a little skeletal legion, which will create a horde of skeletons with bows and swords, armor, to slay our enemies. So we can get ourselves a skeletal legion. Alright, Plague of Darkness, I think, hurts everything around it, dealing constant damage and probably causing blindness. Curse of Enfeeblement makes the target very, very weak and sickly. Doesn't work on undead though. And finally, Possession, which lets you take over the target. I'm a horse now, apparently. Yeah, you literally enter the target's body, and I think it works on players. Moving on, that is all the evil master level spells. Let's move on to the earth spells. Alright, Forest Curse. Bonk. They're going to get constantly hurt by forest stuff. I have no idea what else it does. I think it's just poison and AoE. Flight. Lets you fly in the direction you're pointing and gives you wings. It's like Red Bull, but green. Silverfish Swarm summons an army of angry silverfish to do your bidding. Earthquake. Oh my goodness. Causes an earthquake to ripple out from you, making an absolute mess of the world. I don't think it damages buildings though, which is probably a good thing. Forest of Thorns! I think these just hurt whatever's in them. Cool. And finally, one of my favorite all-time spells is Boulder! Which creates a massive boulder, which will break against stone, but if it happens to encounter wood, it will smash through it, and it goes out just dealing constant damage. Oh man, it looks so good. Sorcery. Rain of Arrows is actually really hard to aim. It targets a little bit in front of the area. Iron Golem makes you Iron Golem that is friendly to you, so he will guard you, not villages. Shockwave sends a shockwave out from you, knocking everything away. And, well, you can probably guess what Black Hole does. Yes. Anything near where your black hole is will get sucked in and consumed. We're going to move past these. Okay. So, slow time slows down time. So if you notice, everything starts moving slower. So this pigs like move slowly through the air. The skeletons move about. I just want to put myself to survival mode. So we're going slow time. And you notice that their arrows will move slowly through the air and have trouble hitting through us. This is a very, very buggy sim spell. Okay, next we'll move on to speed time, which is a way to accelerate time. Now, if everything moves faster, it just like basically makes the world tick by. Finally, we move on to the radiant spells. This gives you resistance 3. Celestial Smite calls down the artillery strike from God this time. Resurrect brings other players back to life, so we can't actually cast it. So when they're in the death screen and they don't leave it, you can then resurrect them, is my suspicion. Alright, Font of Mana basically gives you Font of Mana, which will regenerate your mana. Font of Vitality gives you regeneration and absorption. So these are all just happy, healy, go lucky spells. So yeah, that is the spells of the master level. I'm a slime. Get back here. I'm going to get you. Oh. Yes, this is why Master Wizards are not to be messed with. And this is without any of the buffs. Thank you all for watching this video very much. That was Electroblob's Wizardry, all the spells that it has, from weakest to strongest. And I will leave a link in the description below. You can also go check out my Discord if you feel like it. And yeah. Now YouTube has rolled out a new system which basically lets them put ads onto videos even of people who do not have enough subscribers or time watched to be eligible for AdSense. So YouTube is basically taking money from people and they're getting nothing out of it. So please do subscribe so I can not get ripped off by YouTube basically. And yeah, it helps a lot of people who view are not subscribed, and it would be nice if you could come back every once in a while and see the cool videos I make. If you want to, if you don't, it's fine too. It's just, I'd rather not have YouTube make gains off me that I get nothing for. So anyways, until the next video, I guess I'll see you again. And if there's anything you wish for me to showcase, I'll do that. If you want a more full showcase of this mod, I can go through all the steps and various intricacies of it. So just let me know, and I will catch you all next time. And that is all the spells and Electroblob's Wizardry. Goodbye.